What?
Yeah, I try,
What?
but well, somebody said, I said I don't know what to do with this kit. It's like sitting,
What are the sizes?
22-inch bass drum. It's a Ludwig Superphonic
Snare drum. The 6.5.
I think it's 6.5. Yeah, the deep one, and then which I actually used on the last record. Because I figured, oh well, I was starting to. It's been on eBay for a year and it hasn't sold. But part of the reason is because I was saying what to do with it, and somebody said, well, you could sell it. I said, yeah, but I'd have to sell it for an amount of money that I wouldn't feel bad about not having it. Yeah. An amount of money that could, that I could, pay off a bunch of debts, and I'd have some money to, I could get that I could pay off debts and also probably get another DW kit, which is what I'm playing now. I have a DW kit that I really love, but, it'd be nice to have another one. Some different sizes. And, I actually have an idea about, I want to put a floor tom-tom on my left side.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so I have two floor tom-toms and one on each side. Because I've been working on...
You have 16 on the right? Is that...
Yeah, I have a 16. I'd like to have either another 16 or 18 on the left.
Go 18.
Yeah. I'm thinking 18. But, so I was thinking about getting more drums, and I'm like, but I have these drums. They're it's taking up all the space in my storage.
So wait, that Premiere kit, the 22, was it...
22, then it was a 15... by 13 floor tom-tom and a 8 by 12 rack tom.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it was unusual. You only used 4-piece kit on the records.
Yeah. Well, and then I had a set of rototoms. Okay. So there was actually a lot of drums, drums because the rototoms. It was like.
But that's interesting because obviously live you had more, but in the studio. That was it, always.
That was it.
Well,
actually, I didn't get the rototoms until Agents of Fortune, Don't Fear the Reaper. I had them for that. Before that, I would augment. I had 2 smaller tom-toms, like I think a 10 and a 11 or 9, maybe it was 8 and 10.
8 and 10, maybe.
2 small tom-toms that I used for Secret Treaties.
Mm-hmm.
Before the other 2 records, I just had the 3-piece.
Right.
The Blue Oyster Cult and
But that's interesting because there's different. The same drums and different sounds on those records.
Yeah.
Really
well, I started, different miking techniques. I took the front head off the bass drum, for all the later ones.
What did you come to as far as you got to a point where you said, all right, I found the heads I like. Did you get there?
Yeah,
you did.
I did. Yeah.
What was the rest?
They were the Remo, Remo coated, Weather Kings,
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
And the snare was the Superphonic on all that?
Yeah. Oh, no.
No.
By the end, for the last record, I got myself a Black Beauty.
Yeah.
And I've used that ever since.
So it was Superphonic, then Black Beauty.
Yeah, it was Superphonic all the way up until Fire of Unknown Origin, that record.
Nice.
That had Burning for You.
Yeah.
And once I started
that was
playing,
Superphonic, you mean? Burning for You, or that's Black Beauty?
No, that was the Black Beauty.
That's the introduction of it.
And that was it. I never used a Superphonic again until this last record. I used it just for one song, for jazzy kind of thing.
Yeah. So that kid had a lot of history.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Every album.
Yep. So anyway, that's what I was playing, and that's how we got signed. And that's how we got the name.
Yeah. And then you just were on the road.
Yeah. Then we just 200 gigs, 200 plus gigs a year for the first 4 years. And then we kind of cut back a little bit. we took 3 months to record the Agents of Fortune record, which was, I mean, we didn't take any for Tyranny and Mutation and Secret Treaties. We recorded the whole thing in approximately, Tyranny and Mutation we took 2 weeks. Secret Treaties took 3 weeks. So that was it. That's all we got. And those 2 records we practiced on we practiced in hotel rooms. We had no time to practice. I mean, we would just work stuff up, at sound check or in the hotel rooms. And the day off, it was like we're so exhausted, we just wanted to sleep. Once in a while we'd practice, work on stuff, and also you come back from a really good gig, you'd be jazzed, and so you write something down, you come up with something, and we all had like little, Walkman, or whatever they were, the equivalent, the little Sony tape recorders, and throw stuff down on cassettes at that point. So.
What's that, when you started bringing in songs, and what was that process like?
For me, when we started with Soft Red Underbelly, the first band, we had some reel-to-reel tape recorders, and so I would always record my demos. Of course, I had to. It was only as much as I could play. There was no sound on sound. I didn't use any of that or multi-tracking. It was all what I could play at once. And a lot of times, it would be just playing the song on the guitar for the rest of the band, and they would kind of try and join in, and then once they figured it out, then I would play my drum part. And that was pretty much how it was. If I had a demo, it was just me and the piano, or me and the guitar. And then for Soft Red Underbelly, I was really the only person that wrote. The other guys didn't really. One guy wrote one song that, he would play the same song. That's my song. And then the other guy wrote, he would write little bits of songs, and so I would take his bits and make them into a song, But I was really the only one that wrote whole songs that had a concept of, making a song have the dramatic arch of a song. So, and I think that I was working as a teacher back then. I didn't realize that I was teaching, but in retrospect, I'm like, oh yeah, I was trying to show them how to write a song, how to make a song that's compelling, So, so anyway, by the time we made the Blue Oyster Cult record, everybody was getting involved in making, writing stuff, and but it was pretty much the same thing. Whoever song it was, we'd get up and we'd play it for the other guys, and then at the rehearsal, and then everybody'd start joining in on their instrument, and then if I was playing guitar, then I'd stop playing guitar and I'd play a drum part to it, and then there was a lot of back and forth about what you should play, and everybody was getting involved in everybody else's parts, and well, what if you did this, or you should play a tom-tom riff here, and or okay, and now when we get to this part, everybody stops, and so we did a lot of that, especially for the first 3 records. Then we did the live record, which was On Your Feet or On Your Knees, which was my favorite record, just because
that is your favorite.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I keep getting asked this, and it used to change all the time, but now it's pretty much that one. That live record is.
What would be number 2 for you?
Oh, geez. Well, see, number 2, then you've got to go. Well, I mean, you could go. What song has made me what record made the most money, which is Agents of Fortune. It sort of changed everything, but I have mixed feelings about that, because once you had a hit, then, like Artie Shaw said, once the bitch success gets on your back, it's all over, because you're trying to duplicate it, make it happen again. And what was it that made it a hit? What was going on my head that, or our collective head that made that record so appealing to so many people. So
I mean, you didn't see that coming when you're first working on "Don't Fear the Reaper." It's not like it's something you were saying, "Oh, this is going to be."
no, that's not true. We saw it coming. It was clear as the nose on your face. It was right there. It was,
So you did.
That was a hit.
You heard it just with the. Hey.
I mean, the first time I heard it, I didn't realize it was a hit because Donald called me up on the phone and said, "I think I've got a good riff," and he played the riff, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good riff. Hey, you want to hear my song?" That's I got a riff here. Listen to this, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a good riff." Okay, I said, "Well," he says, "Yeah, I'm going to make a demo tonight." I said, "Good, I can't wait to hear it." So I didn't really get it right away. It was like, it's a nice little riff. It has a nice rolling thing to it, but there was no vocal. Without the vocal, the song doesn't really. I mean, yes, it's distinctive, but it's not as compelling. I mean, once that vocal was there, it was like, oh, it just grabs your heart and rings it, So a couple weeks later, we were out on the road. Like I say, we took more time to do Agents of Fortune. It was 3 months, so we were home for 3 weeks, and then we went back out on the road, and we were home to supposedly write. And of course, everybody had purchased these multi-track tape recorders. So not only was it, you and the guitar, it was you and the guitar and the bass and the drums, and it was like a fully arranged thing. So one of the things was that record, there was a little less time spent with people saying, "Oh, maybe you should do this or maybe you should do that." I mean, there was still a little bit of that, but mostly a lot of the figuring out how it was going to work was done already, because we had taken it to where we wanted it, arrangement-wise, and then the other guys just had to say, "Well, I feel comfortable playing it, or I don't," and then I'd come up with something. But so after it was a hit, it was a little hard to figure out, well, what was it, because we came in with fully formed arrangements? Was it because we were just figuring out how to record? I mean, even to this day, I still don't quite understand what made it so compelling. But the next record, Spectres, is one of my favorites, just because, I mean, at the time I felt like, well, we really tried too hard to have a hit record. After the first hit, it was like
with Spectres.
With Spectres, yeah, we were trying too hard to have a hit, and it just, and it just didn't click. But on the other hand, it's one of my favorites to listen to. I just like the sound of it. The sound is great. To me, it sounds better than Agents of Fortune. It's a really well put together record, and so I like that, probably the second best.
Interesting. Okay.
Even though it wasn't a hit, it didn't mean money, and it was kind of, in a way, it only sold like 700,000 or 800,000 records, and it was a big disappointment. Nowadays, only 700,000, 800,000. So
I think Leonard Cohen's new album just sold that.
Well, it's pretty good. I heard it.
It's a good number.
I heard it. I was like, this is Leonard Cohen?
Yeah.
Sounds like he wants to have a hit.
yeah, well, that's true. But also the fact that 700,000 these days is a great number.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah. So.
And meager back then.
Yeah, and back then it was like, we were coming off 1.5 million, so it was less than half.
What did that do to the vibe of the band?
Well, we were confused. The other thing about Spectres is that before Agents of Fortune, there was really not any kind of drive to, I want to have my I didn't get any songs on this record, or my song isn't. I'm not represented